Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the Untitled Gaming channel. I am AJ Gels. Guys, it's time once again for the weekly show. Sorry this is coming to you a tad late. I'm not gonna lie to you. I overslept this morning. My bad, guys. But today I'm planning on getting out some stuff, putting out some sticks, putting out something new today. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it, I'll say what it is. I'm going to at least probably put out the first part of Wolfenstein: The Old Blood today. Probably get some Fallout. There's some off-camera work that I have to get done in Fallout before I can post the next video for that. Some Mass Effect Andromeda. Just general, all the stuff that I'm currently working on, getting ready to move into, what's next month? August? What's next month? There's something next month that I can't remember what all's coming out next month. Just, geez, the end half of this year with the release schedule looks just fucking crazy. Either way, that's kind of a look at what's coming out later today and over, I guess, the next few days. There felt like there was one other thing. I need to write these down, do some sort of script when I open up and talk on this show. But I don't know. That's something to think for off camera. Because right now I'm gonna sit here. Obviously, this first article we're talking about, really, I don't have a lot, all from IGN, just 3 articles that I found interesting from this week. I really didn't find much this week, but, that's the way it goes sometimes. But actually, I want to start talking about something, that I don't have an article for, and this is kind of a, not an apology, not a correction. This is kind of an admission of wrongness. As far as it looks right now, all right, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I'm going to say I was probably wrong about the Nintendo Switch. I'm still gonna wait a couple more months and see what sales numbers and everything looks. But as of right now, the Switch looks like it's doing a whole hell of a lot better than I thought it would. I saw something, I think it was on Business Insider, or something. It was an article from May. I'm not sure how it's done the past couple months, but it was looking like first quarter, it was, geez, what was it? It was just above the Wii U, but just under the Wii in hardware sales. Its software sales aren't doing a lot, but, I mean, it is what it is, especially for a brand new console, and, but overall, I don't think that the Wii, I think that the Switch is doing very well for itself. Honestly, I'm considering getting one. It's a matter of finances, especially with the Xbox One X coming out soon, and that. And then I'm also looking to upgrade my PlayStation 4, and I'm not sure if I'm going to go for a Slim or just bite the bullet and get a Pro. Either way, but yeah, I'm willing to admit that I was. And the only reason I say probably is because, again, I want to see if it's still selling hot in a couple months. But for the most part, from everything that I've heard from the Nintendo Switch, I was wrong, and I'm not trying to admit it. I honestly thought that the lower power was going to hold it back, and in a lot of gamers' eyes, and apparently it didn't. I'm very surprised, and I've seen things played on the Switch, and I got to admit, I think it's beautiful in its own right. It's not your kind of photorealistic games, but I mean the new Zelda game, Breath of the Wild, looks absolutely gorgeous in its own art style. So I gotta have to give it a kind of a tip of the cap. And now I'm sure people are gonna kind of look at me like I'm nuts when I say this. Honestly, one of my favorite games to look at and watch this year is not a photorealistic game. It is not a game like Horizon Zero Dawn. It's not something like Horizon Zero Dawn. I said in my review, which I need to go through. Like, I have a stack of newspapers of stuff I've gotten published in my day job that in my job at my college's newspaper that I just need to go through, edit, and post. I've been so behind this past couple months. I'm so sorry about that. Side note, but I said this in that review. It's just the character animations for Horizon were just so bad. they're like weird marionettes, and their faces are creepy. I got off topic of. Either way, I think one of the best looking games I've seen this year is actually Persona 5, and I'm sure there are people tearing their hair out listening to me to continue to talk about Persona 5, and I am going to talk more about Persona 5 later in this episode. But I think the art style that they picked with the PlayStation 4, they kind of got away from the... I think with the new tech, they were able to do more with it than what they were able to with the previous ones. And I think in its own way, this new one is just absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, I know that was kind of a weird segue into talking about Persona 5, but anything I can do to talk about that game. Because again, that game, flipping amazing. I'll talk about it some more later, just because I, again, love it. And like I said, I'm probably wrong about the Nintendo Switch. That's, you know... I'm not going to say I'm never wrong, because, you know, I usually am. I make my best guess, and then I, like, forget, like, something very important. Either way, I've yammered enough. Let's actually talk some news. First article I have here, all of my articles coming from IGN this week. Mass Effect Andromeda adding new playable species in multiplayer. Article by Matt Porter of IGN. I already said IGN, whatever. The article reads, remember the Batarians, the Mass Effect race with too many eyes for comfort? Well, you'll soon be able to look through their many eyes in Mass Effect Andromeda's multiplayer. Batarians as a playable race were revealed in a very brief teaser video on the Mass Effect Twitter page yesterday. It came alongside the announcement of a new Platinum difficulty level in Apex multiplayer. It comes as an extra surprise, given the Batarians did not feature at all in Andromeda's single-player campaign. For an explanation of how they got to the new galaxy from the Milky Way, we'll have to wait until the update. The Batarians are notoriously unfriendly, however, they are not exclusively bad guys. There's some mystery surrounding Mass Effect Andromeda's single-player DLC at the moment. BioWare has shut down rumors that no DLC is planned. However, they have been various sources to the contrary. Alright. I talked about this last week with this whole... I did not know that... I might have misread or something last week that BioWare had shut down the rumors that no DLC is planned. But I would... I don't know. I don't get why you wouldn't come out, especially with all of this, especially the bad press surrounding your game. I am kind of surprised as a move that they didn't come out and say... confirm or... They didn't just... flat out confirm or deny that single-player DLC is in the works. I can't believe that they're not going to do any, just because that seems like a bad business move. That you... I don't want to say they screwed up with this game, but even my personal score for the game has fallen down from an 8 to a 7. My 7 for me being my base level. It was good. It was okay. And it's just because I realized it when I was playing Dragon Age Inquisition again, how much of Mass Effect Andromeda feels like Inquisition. And I've said this, I know I'm getting a little off track. I'll try and kind of get back on track after I finish this thought. But I really think that a lot of Mass Effect Andromeda's problem is it's trying to be a fantasy RPG when it's a sci-fi RPG. They're very kind of different things, just because it doesn't feel... Andromeda doesn't feel enough like a shooter. All these random encounters out in the world work really... Not random encounters, I know that's not technically the correct word, but, it's how these enemies are just out in the world, and then you battle them, and you're looking for cover and whatnot. That works really well in a fantasy RPG. I don't think it works as well in a sci-fi shooter. Which I think that Mass Effect 2, I think, nailed it the best. I've said this before, and I think it's because it was a shooter when it had to be a shooter, when it was an RPG when it had to be an RPG. I think that was the best way to do it, and I think this one actually fails at both categories. It feels like it took a step back in the RPG section, I think, in writing, in characters, and story, and all that stuff. It took a step back from that, from like I said, Inquisition did, and I really, again, I know a lot of people didn't like Inquisition. I loved Inquisition. And it also took a massive step back in its combat. compared to what it used to be. So like I said, I think Mass Effect really I think they took some leaps that just did not pan out, and I also think that this game could have used more time. I still remember that story that said they worked on it for 8 months. Was that what it was, or was it like 8 weeks? I think it was 8 months. But yeah, I mean, I do think that I'm starting to get into the camp that I think BioWare kind of shit the bed on this one, but not. I'm still waiting. I still want them to make another Mass Effect game. I want to see a sequel to Andromeda and see what they'll do and see if they'll try and right the ship, which I think they will. But more back on track with the DLC. Just with all these rumors, I'm surprised that they're not coming out, like I said, confirming or denying the fact. I feel like that would be the. Even if you weren't planning on doing this, like your PR teams weren't going to come out and say, well, this is what we're going to do or whatever. If you weren't going to do that, but as soon as these rumors start flying around, these accusations are getting thrown around, and like I said, after public sentiment on your game is in the fucking toilet, I'm surprised you don't just come out and say, it's in the works. It's not, either come out and say, we are not doing this. Although, I still think saying I think not doing it is a horrible decision. But, companies are free to do what they want. But I want their PR teams or whatever, the studio to come out and say, look, we are either not doing this, or come out and say, this is what we're doing. It's still in, or not, we have single player DLC planned. It is still in production. We're still doing all, it's still a little ways out. We aren't ready, we aren't going to talk about concept with you yet, but it is in the works. I would much prefer them do this as opposed to this denying the rumors that there's no single player DLC, because all that tells me is, okay, you're denying the rumors, or really, and it just said DLC. The rumors weren't saying weren't saying single player DLC. My thing, it's just. It feels like they're making all the bad steps to talk about this game, and I don't know. I fear for the future of Mass Effect a little bit. Not entirely, but a little bit after this, after what they did with this game, and it's just and it's not necessarily because of the game. It's more because of the business choices that they're making. I think it really puts a massive black mark on the franchise. I've rambled on about this enough. Now to talk about something that because I'm extremely just a giant fucking nerd. Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm Trilogy and Legacy, released next month. Article by Alex Osborne, IGN. Bandai Namco Entertainment has announced that both Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm Legacy and Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm Trilogy will be released on August 25th for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm Legacy, that is a very long title, bundles together all 4 previously released Ultimate Ninja Storm games in a remastered compilation. As such, the Legacy version includes remasters of Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, Ultimate Ninja Storm 2, Ultimate Ninja Storm 3 Full Burst, and Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 Road to Boruto. That title has 2 colons in it. What the fuck? According to Bandai Namco's announcement, those who purchased the physical version of the Legacy compilation for PS4 or Xbox One will get an art book, an anime disc, and an exclusive metal case. I kind of want that because it looks it looks pretty good. Let's see here. Meanwhile, the Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm Trilogy bundles together the first 3 Ultimate Ninja games and will be available digitally on Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Each game in the bundle will also be available for purchase separate as a digital title on August 25th. For more blah, 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 blah. In all honesty, I actually think that these games are worth your time if you haven't played them. If you're a Naruto fan, or really just that kind of thing, I'll say if you're a Naruto fan, I would definitely say check out these games. They're actually really fun. It took me a little bit to get into them because I played those old Ultimate Ninja games. They were a side scroller, not a side scroller, but they were a fighting game, side scrolling fighting game. That's 2D fighting game, whatever the hell you want to call them. I on the PS2, those were pretty good, in my opinion. But these, I think, really do kind of scratch a weird itch if you're a fan of the franchise and can get into it. If you're not a fan of the franchise, I wouldn't suggest them. Well, that's not necessarily true. I'd say give them a shot, but if you really don't like anime and don't like whatever, obviously this is not the thing for you. But if you, like I said, if you're a Naruto fan, definitely check these out. If you haven't, I think this is actually a really great compilation. Or if you're not necessarily a fan of Naruto, but you like anime, or you are just interested, definitely check them out. The games are worth your interest. I don't think I've played 3 Full Burst and 4 Road to Boruto. I think the last one I played was oh, come on, I can't remember the title. I played 2. I played the one after it, which was kind of like a come on, what was the title? It's not Legacy, because that's the new bundle. I'm sorry, I'm gonna sit here and I can't. Generations, I think that's what it was called. Yeah, I played that one. That one was also good. I just haven't had time to play the more modern ones, but it's still a good series if you're interested. Moving on, and like I said, this is just me getting a chance to talk about Persona some more, because I love Persona, and granted, this is not necessarily about Persona, but whatever. Persona Director's new project, seemingly a traditional RPG for PS4. Article by Alex Osborne, IGN. Article reads, Project Re-Fantasy? I'm gonna go Re-Fantasy. The next title from Persona director Katsura Hashino, I'm sorry, newly formed development team Studio Zero, could very well be a PS4 game, if a job listing is any indication. Duh. The listing... Not because of the job listing, but I would be very surprised if it wasn't a PS4. If it wasn't a PS4 exclusive. There we go. The listing, which can be found on Japanese career site LevTech Creators, translation via Gamatsu, is for, and I quote, the production of character motions in a newly in development PlayStation 4 game. Well, it doesn't specify, or just doesn't, god damn it, I've been reading just fine, now I'm getting tongue-tied. While it doesn't specifically mention Studio Zero, Project Re-Fantasy, or Atlas, the job creator notes the hiring company has a popular series with one entry that has sold over 1.5 million units since its launch in the West this past April. Persona 5 has sold incredibly well, surpassing 1.5 million sales earlier this year. It's also worth noting that the listing states the game is a, and I quote, traditional RPG, which echoes what Atlas said about the title previously. When the company revealed Project Re-Fantasy this past December, it said the game was, and I quote, in the earliest stages of development and strives to be, and I quote, a return to the roots of where the Japanese games industry began with fantasy role-playing games, end quote. That said, it must be emphasized that this job listing is not confirmation that Project Re-Fantasy is a PS4 game, as Atlas has yet to officially announce what platforms the game is in development for. Again, I'd be surprised if this was not going to be it wasn't going to be an exclusive. IGN had the opportunity to speak with Hashino about Studio Zero's first game and his aspirations for Project Re-Fantasy, which, as the title suggests, will have a fantasy setting. And I quote, my hope is that we can, for example, look at what Tolkien achieved in his novels and redefine it as a very small game studio, he said, because we have never made a fantasy game before and we're starting from zero as true amateurs. We feel we can build a world of illusion that takes the kind of societal issues we use in Shin Megami Tensei or Persona games, make them entertaining to play and find new success, end quote. Check out full interview. If you want to go do that, there will be a link in the description for this article. Very interested. I hear that the team who worked on Persona, my ears kind of perk up. I'm definitely interested in this game. I love that they keep saying traditional RPG and they're going back to what made Japanese Japanese games industry. I'm really hoping that we're going to see, because these guys have done turn-based games so well, I am so hoping this is going to be a turn-based game and not an action RPG. So miss turn-based games with a passion. I love, and like I said, that's probably the thing that I love that they've done about Persona 5, is that they've continued to do that turn-based style, just because it is so undoubtedly Persona. Really, I mean, if you look at it, look at all these older RPGs, you know, I mean, Final Fantasy being the biggest one, probably one of the biggest ones coming out of Japan, it switched from turn-based to action. This is going to be a little bit of a deep cut. If anybody remembers a game that came out not too long ago called Magna Carta, that game was no, that was not turn-based. That was more action oriented. Another deep cut. I know I'm I'm pulling out deep cuts here. Or I say deep cuts. I don't know if I'm just being dumb. If anybody has heard of the game Eternal Sonata, if you can get your hands on a copy, I'd suggest it. It's a fun game, neat art style. I believe also an Atlas game. Not necessarily an action game, but not turn-based either. It's kind of interesting. No, I'm not going to say it was what Final Fantasy 12 used. Either way, I'm getting off topic here. But no, I mean, I really hope that this is kind of a more of a classical JRPG with the turn-based and all this. You know, it's maybe we'll see like a return to the class system like earlier Final Fantasy games. I don't know, but the total guess. But I trust this team. You know, like I said, I mean. If this team's got people who worked on the last Persona game, just definitely, because right now Persona 5 easily is my game of the year, and I know that's gonna send some people into a froth, but I really love the game. I mean, I'm still not done with it. I'm nearing the end because I think I've gotten through. I'm not sure if I've gotten through that weird thing that all Persona games have where it's the ending, but it's not the true ending. I think I've actually gotten past that, which is rare for me on a first playthrough. But, either way. It's a phenomenal game. Just wonderful. I mean, the way it looks, the way it plays, the characters, I love every damn thing about it. There's one thing that I'm not, I think some of the writing is a little off at times, but I'm willing to give it a slight pass because it's a translation and whatnot. So sometimes some stuff doesn't carry over well. Sometimes in dubs the voice acting is a little shoddy. But it's not necessarily anything from the main characters. It's a lot of stuff from side characters, or just randoms out in the world. I've been rambling enough, and I'm whatever for this. Just like I said, I'm very interested in this project. I want to see what Re-Fantasy is going to do when it finally comes out, and I actually want a real title, and I really hope it's not Re-Fantasy, because again, I'm one of those guys. It's like EO Interactive. I keep saying IO, and I'm wrong. I know that. I need to stop it. Either way, guys, like I said, that's about all I got for you guys this week. I hope you come back next week. Hopefully there will be more news, more big news, whatever, to talk about. Maybe I'll have some videos and whatnot, but all I can say is thank you so much for watching. As always, you can find me over on Facebook, Twitter, the website, minds.com, down in the description below. Links to every article that I talked about in this will be also be linked in the description. Remember to like, comment. If you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more Let's Plays and news and other content here on this channel. But until then, guys, I'm AJ Gels. This is the Untitled Gaming Channel. I'm out.